Hi everyone. Today, instead of showing you what I got at the thrift store, because I haven't been to the thrift store, or I haven't shopped on eBay either, I have some tools that I need to clean, and I know sometimes watching something become clean is very gratifying. So I thought I'd make a video cleaning my commonly used, very dirty tools, and maybe I'll tell you a story at the same time. So we'll start with one. We'll see how long it takes. This is my favorite sculpting tool. It's plastic. I think someone gave it to me. I don't know. I've had it for years. I tried to order a replacement and they were out of stock. And then they were supposed to ship me one when they got back in stock, and one never came. So I've just used this one. It gets really caked up. And so then I just scrape it off occasionally. So that's what I'm going to do today, is scrape with a razor blade. And I bent it earlier and some stuff came off, so I may work on that a little bit too. Yeah, like there's a chunk. So while I clean, I'm going to tell an art story. Or I guess it's really called the story of how I didn't go to graduate school. So I just have a bachelor's degree. I got my initial degree from Maryville University, which is in St. Louis. It's a really little tiny school. I assume they still have an art program. The art program when I went there was really small. When I graduated, it was back in 2003, and I always just sort of assumed that I would get an MFA and then teach, because that's what you do, right? So at the time I was doing this like mixed media work, a lot of work on paper, but a lot of work with like altered books. It was just not really easily categorizable work. And so I'd applied to, I think, 4 or 5 schools, and I got waitlisted at a couple, and then got rejected from a few others, and it was just like, this is not working out the way I wanted it to. So I decided to move from St. Louis to Austin. At the time, it was cheap to live in Austin, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll just, check out the program there. So I went down to Austin. I made an appointment with the, at the time, new dean of the MFA program, to see the program and talk to him about it. And so, make an appointment in advance, show up at the place, get the guy's secretary. She's like, okay, he's in his office. And so I go into this guy's office, and he was brand new dean. And so he'd just moved in, and he was in the process of putting together some cabinets. They were in pieces. They'd arrived in a box. And he was frustrated and struggling, and apparently he forgot he had an appointment. And so I walk in his office. He's like, who are you? So I tell him. And then he's kind of like, oh yeah, I was supposed to give you a tour or whatever. He seems totally not interested at all. And anyway, so he starts asking me about my work. And at the time, this was before you could show people stuff on your phone. So I brought, I think a little, a portfolio that had photographs in it. To show him kind of what I'd been working on. I think I brought maybe even a couple of real life artworks. So I showed him what I was working on, and he was kind of like, I don't know where you'd fit in here. You've been doing painting, but it doesn't really fit into what we do here in painting. Maybe you're printmaking, or maybe, and at this time, he's still kind of hanging on to these instructions for his furniture that he's building. And then he looks at me and he goes, it's look at this. And he throws the instructions at me. And he's like, if you can understand something like this, you're probably supposed to be in sculpture. He like throws me these like IKEA instructions for this furniture, and he's like, "Does this make any sense to you? Does this make sense?" And I look at it and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." And he's like, "Well, you're probably sculpture then, like probably sculpture." And we haven't even gone to tour the department or anything yet at all. And I'm like, this is already going pretty badly. So he ends up, he's like, well, let's just like look around and, you know, we'll figure it out. And so I go start touring the departments, look around in the painting department. I don't even remember looking in the sculpture department at all. I don't know if they do now, but I think at the time they didn't really have any real studio space for graduates, or like the painting studios were like the size of closets, and I don't think they had any private sculpture studio space at all. I don't remember. But then he said, well, we'll go downstairs to printmaking, and, you know, I'll show you that, and then we'll, you know, finish up. And I was like, okay. So he takes me down to the printmaking department. And he introduces me to the printmaking person, and we're talking about my work a little bit. And then all of a sudden I look around and the guy is gone. He's just disappeared completely. He just left me down there because he was sick of talking to me, I guess. And that was how I never went to graduate school. Like after that experience, I mean, I didn't even ever apply to UT. Or anywhere else for that matter. I just kind of at that moment was like, this clearly isn't for me. Like, I don't fit anywhere. These people are rude. And I don't want to do this. And then it was shortly thereafter, I guess, that I kind of had that happenstance of finding someone who needed an apprentice for ceramics restoration. And after that, I got on that path, and then all of this happened. And look, one story, one almost clean tool. So I'm going to finish it up here. It's just a scraping on the end. The buildup doesn't get as heavy on the ends, and so it's usually easier to clean. Never been really good with cleaning tools or cleaning hands. I don't wear gloves when I work because I need to feel things. And so, I don't know, I make messes. And it would be easier if I cleaned these tools up after I used them every single time. But I don't. And I've recently come to the realization, you know, after doing this for like whatever, almost 20 years, that I'm never going to be a person that cleans my tools. Somehow that ship sailed in my life, the tool cleaning ship. And I don't know, maybe I just like them this way instead. It's a little tough spot on the end here. She'll probably just, well, let's say for the purposes of you being here watching me clean this tool, I will actually clean this off. But if it were just me and not you, whoever you are, potentially watching this video with possibly the desire to be gratified by it being completely clean, I will clean this spot off too. And there you go. One very clean, very nice tool that I'm going to ruin in the next few hours. And over the next couple of weeks, it will become just as dirty as it was before, and I'll need to clean it again. Hope you enjoyed me cleaning this tool and the story of me failing to go to graduate school. Have a nice day.